ran onto my chair to start this radio program with you. That is how important you are to me. So just know that my week has been hectic. Also, let me say that it's exactly 1 week today that I and my family members bid farewell to my mother-in-law who passed away. The funeral took place exactly 1 week ago. How time flies. It was such a beautiful farewell celebration. It was so beautiful. It was so exciting. We cried, we laughed, we thought about all the beautiful things she has done. We listened to so many people, but it was worth it. She was such a beautiful woman. And I'm not talking about physical beauty. I'm saying she's got a beautiful soul. She's got a beautiful heart. I am so excited to be here today. So excited to be here because I'm not here today all by myself. I am here today with an amazing guest, and it promises to be an exciting week program. Okay, so you can see my heartbeat is like pumped because I haven't even taken a breather. I literally ran here to sit. Okay, what's going on with my network? Let me see. Just bear with me 1 second. I want to make sure that my guest can hear me. Can you hear me now? Okay, so the network is doing its numbers today, but not to worry. We will not be discouraged. I am absolutely sure that there is value today. And so it's trying to show us, but no, we are saying no. We are definitely going to bring the value. So I'm so excited. It's a new month, the month of February. I'm not sure what your January was like, but I'd like to let you know that regardless of what your January was, February can even be a better and more beautiful month. So I hope this month brings you clarity. I hope this month brings you courage. And I hope this month brings you everything you've been working towards. Amen. Amen. So on today's conversation, in case you're just joining us, it's one that we cannot afford to miss. It is one that if you know any woman, call her and say, go listen on Women Radio 91.7 because we're talking about you as a woman, okay? All right, so today's conversation, every day we wake up to heartbreaking stories of women losing their lives, women suffering in silence, women trapped in cycles of abuse with no clear way out. Gender-based violence and femicide in Nigeria have reached alarming levels, and it's beyond devastating, honestly. It's so sad that you wake up today, you hear this news, tomorrow you hear another news. It's just so depressing. So depressing, and we need to talk about it. So I know these words are heavy, I know, but for every woman feeling trapped, for every woman feeling afraid, for every woman feeling alone, because a lot of people are, they feel all alone. For every woman feeling all alone, I want you to know that this episode is for you. Today, we are here for you, solely to let you know that you are not alone and there are ways that you can actually break free, okay? So we're not just talking about problems, we're talking about solution. You know that I don't like to just focus on problems. I like to talk about solution, and that's why every Friday we try to talk about things that can actually bring value, and people that can help us to make sure that, the world gets to hear what we've got to share. and bring people that can actually help us. And that's exactly what we're doing today. I'm excited about my guest today. I'm so excited about my guest today because she's been helping a whole lot of people. And today we also want to learn, we also want to lean on and leverage on a wealth of experience. Okay, so like I said earlier, we're not just here to complain, we're here to actually profile solution. Today we want to speak directly to the woman who feels stuck. Do you feel stuck? Are you afraid? Have you been told that there's no way out? Have you been told that you're not good enough? Have you been told that, you have no purpose here on earth? I want you to know that we're here for you today. And there are solutions and there are ways for you to break free. So I'm talking directly to you if you feel stuck, if you're afraid, if you're depressed, if you feel that you're all alone. I want you to know that help exists. And you don't have to do life all by yourself. You don't have to do it all alone. That first step may feel impossible, but I assure you that it is necessary. I assure you that it is necessary. And we're not just talking about statistics today. We're talking about real solution, real support, and real path to safety. Have you heard about somebody who you thought was, doing okay, and suddenly you've heard, she's been beaten to death, or she's been abused, or this and that? If you don't experience it, I'm sure you've heard of stories, or you've seen people who have experienced such thing. And even if you don't feel it, at least learn ways that you can also help and support people in such situation. It is very, very important. So I want you to know today that, there's a way out. Stay with me on this conversation, because the first step is change. And that's why I'm not here all by myself. I'm here with an amazing guest. And I also want you to know that your story matters, your life matters. And today we're going to show you why. Why? And that's exactly why we'll be discussing with my guest today, who has first-hand experience in this space, because I don't. I'm here to learn so that I can help the people around me that I know and the ones that I don't even know yet. Together, we're going to explore the options available and how we can access them. So once again, I'd like to welcome you to Real Women, Real Talk with me, your host, Kiki Okewale. And on this program, we help women achieve all-round transformation. And of course, when I talk about all-round transformation, that includes your career, your home, your finance, your health, your emotional well-being. I'm here to remind you, as always, that you're here for a divine purpose. I'm here to remind you that out of all the over 8 billion people in the world, no one else has your DNA or your fingerprints. I mean, that is a big deal. And it means that no one is quite like you. And in whatever place or space of assignment you find yourself, be the best version of you there. Be a good example. So we're going to come to my song much later, because I really just want to bring my guest on board. But always remember that you have to get up, you have to make a move, because the world will never see you until you see yourself. And there is absolutely, absolutely no one quite like you. If you're just joining us, I am Kiki Okewale on Women Radio 91.7, and the program is Real Women, Real Talk, brought to you by What Tribe every Friday at 5 p.m. So as we think about the alarming statistics, I want us to take a moment to honor the women who have lost their lives to gender-based violence and femicide. Over the past 10 months alone, over 100 Nigerian women, and this is the one that have been, documented. Over 100 Nigerian women have been killed, and countless others have suffered in silence. So please, out of respect, let's take 1 minute to remember them and reflect on the action we can all take to ensure that no more lives are lost. 1 minute silence, please. Thank you for joining me in that moment of reflection. Let it serve as a reminder that their memory fuels our resolve to take action. Now, for the quote of the day real quick. No woman should have to fear for her life because of her gender. We must stand together to end violence against women and raise our voices until justice is done. That's from Michelle Bachelet, former UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. If you're just joining, welcome. Our topic today is Women, Help Exist. Take action. Women, help exist. Take action. And I have an amazing guest with me today. I really can't wait to hear what she has to share with us. My guest today is none other than Anuli Anaibo. And I just hope I didn't murder that name. I've been practicing the name. You know, I like to get names right. So if I didn't get it right, do well to correct me and just teach me, okay? But my guest today is one who has turned pain into purpose and action into advocacy. She's been on the front line fighting for women's rights, and she's here to remind us that it's time to stop the violence and take action before it is too late. Hello, Anuli. How are you doing today?
Hello, Kiki.
Did I murder the name?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here. So please tell me your name. I like to learn names, truly.
Kiki, honestly, it's going to take a whole hour to learn my name. And I'm sure you've noticed, as it's correctly written, there's a hyphen on the end. My name is strictly Igbo, 100% Igbo. So it's Anuli. So the N is quite silent because there's a hyphen on the end. Wow. So you pronounce it with, with gentility, with calmness.
So you are forgiving me for that.
I'm forgiving you, Kiki. It's okay. I'm forgiving you.
Thank you. I'll try to do better.
No problem.
But I am so excited to have you on the program. Let me first take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you so much for accepting to be here. When my EA shared with me that you accepted to be, I was so excited because, I've gone through and in fact, she bombarded me with so many things that you have done. And it's such an honor and privilege to have you on the radio program today, especially because I'm so passionate about women and anything that can help move us from where we are to where we ought to be. So I'm excited. Thank you so much for being here. I was going to read your bio, but I'm like, that's going to take the whole time that we have. And in the course of the conversation, I know you would share the couple of things that you've done and how you're able to help people, support, and all of that. But your bio is quite impressive. Wow. I know that we put a bit of it in our post, but I just hope that people get to follow your socials. And I know you're going to share your social media with us as we go along. But I'd like to start with my first question. I don't know if you permit me to go ahead because of time. There's a lot that I want to ask. So you've worked across so many industries, from finance to healthcare and now gender advocacy. Looking back, was there a specific moment that made you say, you know what, this is it? I have to dedicate my life to fighting for women. I mean, that is so, I don't know, I think it takes audacity, to just say that I want to dedicate my life to fighting for women, knowing that it's not going to be easy, but you chose that path. Has there been any, strategic or specific moment that brought you to where you are today?
Thank you so much, Kiki, for this opportunity. And first, let me share my condolence for your mother-in-law who passed on really
Thank
sorry
you.
about that.
Thank you.
And also to congratulate you for your book.
Oh, thank
I
you.
love the title, and I'm ordering my copy as well.
Oh,
So
thank you so much. So grateful.
welcome. It's
Thank
amazing
you.
to have you in this space as well.
Thank you.
There's so many defining moments, to be honest, Kiki. But you know, I always joke about with myself that I'm amongst women and men. I've got 3 sisters and 2 brothers.
Huh.
I feel like my advocacy started from birth. As the first daughter, you know, you're always like advocating for everybody.
Absolutely.
So advocacy started there, but you know, just to conceptualize your question, I would say that, you know, I came back to Nigeria from studying, doing my first master's in human resource management.
Huh.
And you know, and what's going about life, and you know, I must confess, sometimes you can have all of this education and be in a privileged bubble. And I was just watching CNN, and I realized that they were doing a documentary of some young women who are, you know, leaving the shores of our country, Nigeria, looking for what they call greener pastures, but doing that through sex work, right? And I was curious, like, why are they doing that? You know, and the documentary went on to say that, you know, gave a highlight of our country, Nigeria, with the high unemployment and how, you know, the social norms and the pressures for women who, you know, are seen as providing, like, you know, women are made to get up and marry and do this and do that. You know what I mean? There's so many things around that conversation. I'm like, hang on a second, what's going on?
What's going on here?
You know, and I was just like, oh my God, like, thank you God for the privilege to have an education and all of that, but
Absolutely.
This is so wrong. And so that was that, like, maybe it's sort of quick, a sort of where I actually said I would physically begin to do something. Now, prior to that, there's been different moments, Kiki. When I was doing my NYSC, there was this conversation about, you know, using women to get money from men. I was just like, what? I was like an advocate. There was another place I was working for. The money wasn't coming in for the staff. I was in the human resource. I was advocating.
So you've been an advocate all your life, really.
I didn't even give it that language. At that point in time, I was trying to do good. Or I hated injustice, right? So I didn't know it was called advocacy or organizing or speaking. All of those words we use nowadays.
Yeah.
I just want people to have what was fair, and I just didn't want people to be bullied. That's all I knew at the time.
And we owe that to ourselves, really. We owe that to the world. Every one of us should actually not want to see injustice, you know. Everyone should be able to fight for other people's rights, truthfully. That is quite amazing.
Everybody should. So the final or the current defining moment 4 or 5 years ago, I came into the space, women rights organization, you know, NGO, CSO, doing this and that and a third, speaking and having conferences and attending conferences and speaking up against issues, attending walks, doing gender-based violence, you know, advocacy. I said to myself, hang on a second, that I kind of felt like there was a rhetoric around Nigeria. I felt like kind of saying the same thing, which
over and over again.
It wasn't moving as fast as I thought it would. I felt like, you know, when we do this policy, we'll have this meeting, then the whole country will change immediately.
Oh, yeah. I wish.
What's going on here? So I thought to myself, you know what? And there was this banter about, you know, gender, who is gender, what is gender, this and that. I was like, hang on, Anuli, you really want to do this, right? If you're going to do it, you have to sacrifice. So
absolutely.
Kiki, I decided to go back to uni to do a second master's in gender studies. I said to myself, if you want to do this, you got to do it well. You have to do it right. You got to understand the history. You have to understand the implications. I don't want to use the same language and the same frame and the same understanding that I've been hearing for the last 8 years in Nigeria. I want to have a different understanding and push back the rhetoric. So when I'm coming into a space to speak about women, I know I have a degree to prove it. So I've got to have it. I went back to uni from Abuja. I went to SOAS, School of African and Oriental Studies, University of London, and I did another master's. And you can imagine the talent that would have taken. My first master's was 10 years prior.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Wow. I like what you particularly said about whatever space you find yourself, because again, I feel like a lot of people say, oh, they're advocating. I feel like, I mean, I've heard a couple of people and I'm like, do you actually know what advocacy really means? Are you really advocating for women? And to hear that because of all these things, you actually went back to understand from the basic how it all started,
Yeah.
how to actually help and not just be a bystander and not just say that you're doing something, because there are a lot of people that would say that, you know, they're advocating for this and that, but again, it's when it's convenient. You know, when
Absolutely.
it's not convenient or when you feel like you're going to ruffle some shoulders, you just really step down. And I see many women in difficult situations know they need help, but
Yes.
fear, shame, or even lack of awareness holds
Yes.
them back. So, you know,
Yes.
and this brings me to my next question. From your experience, what are the
Yeah.
most common barriers stopping women from seeking help? And how do we, sis, honestly, how do we dismantle them? Because a lot of us, like, I've seen people who have been abused, gender-based violence, who have been, you know, bullied, who get beaten all the time. They know they need help. And that's why for me, I mean, I say my advocacy really is about helping people with skill acquisition and financial literacy. Because if you don't have, a lot of people stay in places they have no business staying because they do not have the financial capacity. I've heard people say, like, you know, how do I feed my children if I leave that home? You know, how do I take care of my family? How do I get a roof over my head? You know, there's so many things, and I don't want to feel, you know, sound like it's all easy, because it's not.
Yeah.
But how do we dismantle all of these things? And for people that actually need help, how do they
Yeah.
get the help? Because coming out and saying, you know, your life matters, your life this, hello, people do know their lives matter. But how do we give them the support and the help that they need? And I'm not just talking about advice, I'm talking about financially, I'm talking about mindset. You know,
Absolutely.
and I know that you'll be able to help us with this, because someone else is probably listening and saying, you know, I have a friend, I have a sister, I have someone who is going through gender-based violence, and, you know, I'm not able to help. What are the things? How are the ways we can help these people? What are the most common barriers stopping women from seeking help?
Thank you so much for that question, Kiki. That's actually quite key.
Thank
I
you.
need us to be very honest, right,
Mm,
with each other, with ourselves, and I need us women to be honest with us women.
mm,
There's a lot of information that you and I probably find out in our journey through life. We had to find out ourselves, right?
yeah,
And maybe nobody spoke to us about it. But
absolutely.
you know, barriers, as you'll agree with me, are from different levels. You've
Mm,
got like the societal factor, like say, for example, purity culture, where women are meant to remain pure.
mm,
And if there's any shift, whether it's your fault or whether it's
mm,
not your fault,
mm.
you will bear the brunt of that shift in your purity,
Absolutely. It's one-sided.
right? It's always one-sided. That's for one of the societal factors that we need to be able to think about. When we're thinking about barriers for women, let's look at it that, listen, it's not as if not all women want to leave the situation that they're in. Who doesn't want to be in a happy place? We all want to be in
Absolutely,
a
I
happy place,
agree.
right? But there are different people, there are different intersections of barriers. So we really need to be able to try to give women the voice and the support system to understand. And then there's also family expectations, Kiki.
Hey,
We are born and raised
that one is plenty.
in a social norm to do some certain things,
Hmm.
Kiki. Now, if it is that you deviate from the family expectation or the social norm, you are labeled as a negative human being. You are
Absolutely.
seen as a bad example.
You
So
hear
I'm
things
sorry,
like your mother accepted it, she tolerated it, your grandmother did this. Why are you different? Why can't you just manage? Why can't you just do this? And you know, and I feel like a lot of us are actually victimizing ourselves,
Women stay there because
Absolutely.
of that.
Absolutely.
Women actually stay because of the financial thing. You stay because of the missus. You stay because of the mom. You stay because you have access to some elite top criteria gathering. Women remain in pain so that it can be acceptable in own humble opinion, right? So women who you get married, you change your name, beautiful. Some really do not change their name back because of the rigor. It's so rigorous to go back and change your name and change your documentation, all good. But women remain there because they want people to ask them questions. Oh, your name is no longer this. What happened?
Hey.
You don't want to be the subject of conversation because when I'm going to be your name was this before now, it's you can't even change your name back to your father who gave birth to you. You'll be questioned. You'll be thrilled. So I'm sorry. Why would you expect women to leave that situation so quickly? So I say all of this to say that while we're preferring help, I love the topic of conversation today. Thank you so much for the way you titled it. Help does exist, but it starts with you and I.
It starts with you and I.
Yeah.
Question what you feel. I love that. I particularly put that down because a lot of times we run away from even our own feelings. We don't want to be honest with ourselves. We know the things that we need to do. I mean, I know that there's sometimes I know what I need to do. I don't do it. And I end up, trying to sugarcoat or name it something else when I know fully well what I'm supposed to do. And that's why I particularly like this question, what you feel. Now, this topic is so deep. This topic is so, it's so deep because, you talked about the fact that, there are a lot of people because of the title, because of the perks, because of the, the name, because of there's so many different reasons why you don't want to change. But I also know, like I said earlier, that I've met a couple of people in the course of my my purpose in life, and I've seen women who run and then run back into that same space. Just because of a couple of the things that you've mentioned, and I know that you've led initiatives that tackle gender-based violence, economic justice, and women's leadership in everyday terms. What does help look like for a woman? So let's say a woman, and I'm just going to give an example, a woman that is being abused. And now abuse doesn't really, honestly, sometimes it doesn't always come from spouses. It can even come from, and sometimes people feel like, if they say you're being abused, like it's only your spouse, your partner that abuses. Parents abuse, siblings abuse, family members abuse. Now, you know that this abuse is there. What does it look like if you're trying to get help? What does, because I did say help exists, because I know it does. And I know that a lot of times people don't have the right information. People don't even know where to run to. People don't even know who to talk to for the fear of being laughed at, being mocked, being, a couple of things that we've talked about. But look like, what does help look like for a woman who is stuck in an abusive marriage or an abusive relationship or an abusive family environment? Who is struggling financially? Now, I tie this to finance because I've met with a lot of people that because of how they will eat, and you know that there are different calibers of people in the world, right? And I'm talking about those who are not financially capable in this particular question, who are struggling financially, who I've met with people who would say, my husband never allowed me work. That is that is still a form of abuse. He wouldn't let me work. He wouldn't let me do anything. He would literally just, he wants me to just feel stuck in the house. How does such a woman break free because she doesn't have her own money, right? And so they feel unheard, they feel unseen, and they know they want help, but they don't know what to do. What does help look like for such a woman? What do you recommend? What do you advise such a woman to do? Maybe somebody is listening right now and saying, this is me. I know I need help. I know I need to run. I don't have the financial capacity or capability to actually, run. What would your advice be to that person?
Thank you for that question, Kiki. You know, we started by saying that there's social norms that you and I have imbibed for a long time.
Absolutely.
Right? And those social norms, you know, not only impact us women, it also impacts the men as well. Yeah. So us women, we are raised to, you know, just look after the home. That's it. Yeah, be nurturers. That's
Absolutely.
it. And then the men are being tasked to what? To provide.
To provide.
That's been the social norm for a long time. That's what you and I have been imbibed to be. So it's very easy for a woman to agree to stay at home because that's how she's being raised. Now, if you're religious, I'm a Christian, so a lot of the Christendom will speak to that and support it with Bible scriptures. And then you have to do that because you're trying to obey. There's nothing wrong in doing all of that, right? If it is that strategy. But when it now comes to a place where...
If that is what you want, there's a difference between a want and something you're being forced to do.
But yes, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being taken care of. And, you know, you and your partner or your wife are doing things accordingly and everybody's supporting. Support looks different for you and I.
Absolutely.
Yeah? And submission looks different for you and
Absolutely.
I. Across the world. So in a vulnerable situation where a woman has absolutely nothing, you know, it's really, really difficult to be able to give one blanket, you know, advice on what help will look like for her. Because at the point, you might think that she just wants to have a conversation with somebody. That could look like help. She might be that she wants someone to speak to her husband. That could look like help. It might be that she just needs money to feed her children for the night. That could look like help. So I get your question about what help looks like, but in terms of just generalizing a blanket answer, I will not be able to do that at the moment. But I know that out of everything, the foundation will be speaking to somebody you really trust, confident about what is happening, and taking incremental steps through their advice. But again, let's go back to what we said earlier, please, Kiki. Question what you're feeling. Because if you as a human being, you need to be honest about your own intentions in where you are. You have to be honest about what you're asking for. You have to be honest about what the situation looks like. And you have to be honest about who should be listening to what you're saying or how you want to be communicating what you're saying. That's where, I mean, I'd like to pack it for now. Talk to somebody who, in my opinion, is able to listen to you unapologetically, no discrimination, because Kiki, yes, this is a women radio. Women are very critical about women in situations. Yes, we can't. Some women can be very critical. Not all women, but some women can be very critical. They don't mean to be critical. It's probably their experience. It's what the tools that they have at the moment. But some women can be critical towards another woman,
and then it just makes the situation even worse.
Yes, but because they probably don't know better. I believe that some women who are more critical don't know any different. So they're only giving you what they know.
What they have. I mean, you can't give what you don't have anyway.
Exactly. But you have to ask yourself, this is what we're saying. Ask yourself, question your feeling, question yourself, right? This thing I'm going to go and talk about now. Who is the best person to give me what I think I need? Honestly. But then not going to the person who is going to now butter you up and not tell you the truth. You see, there are different sides to this asking for help and how it looks like.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yes, this is our packet. Yeah.
Absolutely. I know that I've heard a couple of people say, oh, in Nigeria, there are a couple of organizations or NGOs that, you know, if you're being abused or going through violence, you can go there. Is there anyone that you've also heard of that you can share?
Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of organizations that I work with directly, if I'm going to be honest with you, who provide help. But the reason why I renegade on naming any organization is because you still have to start with yourself. We're saying women, help exist, right? Take action. The first action, in my opinion, is with you yourself. Because we've seen a lot of, I've been with so many situations where you do all of the work, you do all of the hard work.
And then you realize they're not even ready to take the action.
Even if they take the action, my dear, they run right back. And everything is just there, you can't prosecute unless they enable you prosecute.
Hmm.
So in that situation, I don't blame any of the women, right? I just know that you're not asking yourself the question, you're not questioning what you're feeling, and you are not ready.
And you're not
And
ready.
that's absolutely okay. You can't force anyone. So the organizations like I live in Abuja, right? So that the Federal Capital Territory Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Unit, they're amazing. They respond immediately. You call them. Yeah, they call, there's a woman that she calls and listens to you, and then, can move you around to any other sister organizations. There's FIDA who picks up pro bono law if you want it, if that's what you want, they can prosecute. There's so many sister organizations that work together. But again, they all come together in this caucus. But what we always find as challenging is that when you come to us, are you ready to go the long haul? Because Kiki, so I mentioned societal expectations,
absolutely,
commitment, and all of that. It will drag you back. We're being honest here, yeah? Absolutely. It will drag you back. It will drag you back, definitely. The shame is real. The shaming, the apologist for women, it is real, Kiki. Wow. Women go through this real time. If you leave or if you say anything, you that has been abused is the same person that will be labeled, is the same person that will be castigated, is the same person that will be blamed.
The society is playing a very big role in the decision making in people's lives. And unfortunately, a lot of lives have been lost for the fear of being judged, being mocked, being laughed at, and people are staying in places that they're being killed because I'd rather be a Mrs. that, that is being beaten every day than be a single woman that everybody is laughing at. They call you for gatherings and they don't even invite you anymore because you're no longer Mrs. or you're now, and as you're talking, I'm just trying to imagine the number of people you've been able to meet with and the different stories you've heard. And I can just imagine the kind of stories that you've heard for you to even insist on the fact that, question what you feel and be sure. Because personally, I'm not in that space. And, it can be easy for us to just say, go seek help. The question is, have you really questioned that feeling? Are you sure that you want to seek the help? Are you ready to go the long haul and not just run right back? And, as you're saying all of this, it's just ringing a bell in my ear. It's just, my head is just banging and I love the fact that you had to go to learn it right from the basics, to understand, the feelings that people feel, the judgment that is out there. But while I talk about all of that, I want us to talk about policy. You've worked on gender-focused programs at both grassroots and high-level governance. Where do you see the biggest gaps in how government and organization provide support for women and how we hold them accountable as well?
Oh my goodness. Do we have time?
I know, right? We only have 10 minutes to go, and I still need you to talk about your organization.
To be honest, the gaps, we've been mentioning the gap. It's just I feel like there's a huge commitment issue because of societal expectation. There's huge commitment issues, right? I think that, the way the whole thing is structured, a lot of us women need to not just be at the helm of affairs, but really be representing women. There's a big difference for me, Kiki. If you're holding a position of authority and you're a leader as a woman, I have a little bit of expectation to expect you to represent a woman, right? So for that, gender lens investing is a big thing on my plate at the moment that I'm doing with a funder. Women are not giving priority when it comes to loans and investments. I can't find data. That women
this table that you are on.
Oh my God, Kiki, they're not giving. I've done the research, I have combed through it, and I can see that. I'm even looking for the data. Tell me how many women have gotten this investment. Tell me how many women have gotten loans. Tell me, where is the data? Are you mainstreaming women? There's a gap there. So it will speak to the financial independence that you're talking about. A lot of women are women are beautiful, strong, hardworking.
I agree.
change things, right? So curriculum's making you look at us. You're not giving us.
We don't have the same opportunity level.
We don't. There's the huge funding cap. Africa Development Bank has highlighted it. There's money that came for one organization called AFAWA, $50 billion for
even me as a woman. I'm not seeing the money. Oh,
hey, you see now?
I want to see this money that we are talking about, though, because me, I've applied for many loans. So.
All of them are saying we're getting this, getting that, and I'm like.
And what is the percentage of women getting it actually?
I want to know, and I'm already started looking for the answer. So don't worry about it. I'll give you the answer.
I want to ask. When you know, I want to know, please.
Yeah, I got you. So the accountability towards us women, I think, is really lacking, and it's still lacking. There's no accountability towards us women. They're not taking responsibility for us women. That's the gap for me across. So when you see policies, the gender bills, the Constitution, there's no accountability towards women. And we need.
So what are we going to do to hold them accountable now? Because we really need to start doing something. I mean, if we keep just, keeping quiet and doing nothing, or the percentage of people that are trying to do it, we need to all rise up and do something. But what can we do as individuals? Because
we're doing what we need to do, Kiki. We're not keeping quiet. I think we're keeping quiet, but a lot of us are actually speaking.
Absolutely. I mean, we're on a radio program right now talking about this.
It's about speaking up. For us to spend our voice for
absolutely.
An hour.
Absolutely.
There's something about it, but but I hear you loud and clear. There seems to be a little bit more visibility in what we're doing, in what we did with the economic injustice. Absolutely. We're able to get somebody from the gender department to come to our validation meeting from African Development Bank, and we shared findings with her, and she agreed totally that it's crazy for women pay back loans, but they don't get as much loans. Why? Do you know what I mean?
Why? So it's a $1 billion question. Why?
Exactly. So it's us advocating. I'm still advocating and looking for all of these parastatals to tell them these are the numbers, man. You guys need to do something. So it's incrementally, we'll keep doing it. We can't keep quiet, right? So
it is amazing. Well, because we're fast spent on time, and before I ask another question, I just want you to tell us how we can find you. Peradventure somebody is like, you know what? I want to support the cause of and I've been running away. I've been running away from calling your name since. So Anuli, I want to support the cause she's on. We want to support. We want to, or peradventure somebody is saying, I need help. I'm ready to go the long haul. I need help. How can we find you? Share with us your social media handles. If there's a website, if there's an email, I just want people to be able to connect with you, so that they can get the help or give the support they want to.
I really appreciate this, Kiki. So we're Air Women, HEIR Woman. So it's at Air Woman on all social media platforms. Our website is www.heir.com.ng. And if you want to, on Instagram, you can send us a DM. You can go to X, we're there. You go to Facebook, we're there. Send us a message, and we'll definitely respond. Thank you so much. All right.
So thank you. So I hear Air Women. That is HEIR, and it's women, right?
So so it's Air Woman.
Women. Okay, that's A, not E.
No, that's an A, not an E. Yes.
All right. So Air Woman on all social media platforms. HEIRWOMAN on all social media, and our website is www.heir.org.ng. Did I get that right?
.com.ng.
All right, so .com.ng.
Yes.
All right, so if you're trying to find the website, it's www.heir.com.ng, and maybe you want to give them a support, so that they can support women even more. They are a voice for women, and they're so passionate about helping. I mean, I just can't get past the fact that you went back to study and all of that. So I mean, I'm just my head here and saying, well done. I mean, we need more women to rise up for each other, and not just from a place of for your selfish reasons, but really question what you feel as well. Whether you're trying to help someone or you're the one that needs help, question what you feel. Why are you doing what you're doing? Is very, very important. I wish I had more time to ask more questions, but I only have few minutes to go. And lastly, if you could just leave women with just one unapologetic, non-negotiable truth about asking our accepting help, what would that be? If just one unapologetic, like I don't care if you want to hear the truth or not, I'm just gonna say it. That kind of information. Just share something as we round up. What's your parting words with us? For us?
I would want to say, yes, you matter, but you have to show up for yourself and take responsibility.
I love that. You matter. Show up for yourself and take responsibility. There's a question I really wanted to ask, but I wish there was more time. It's about, women that say, I'm doing this because of my children. I really wanted to eat on that question. But I only have 3 minutes. I don't think it's something you can answer in 3 minutes. If there's a woman listening right now that is being abused right, left, center, and they're saying, I'm doing it because of my child, please just say something to that woman today.
What about if it is that what you're doing is actually hurting your child?
That's a deep question.
Question that. Are you doing it for your child or are you doing it for yourself?
Try. On this note, honestly, I like how you said that, because if you now look back to all the things you've talked about, the societal expectation, the family, the problem solver mentality and all of that, the question really is, do you really think you're doing it for that child, or you're doing it, or you're just hiding under the label of I'm doing it for my child? But question what you feel. I'm going to keep coming back to that. Question what you feel. What are you doing it for? Why are you where you are? Ask yourself that question. But anyways, I'd like to say a very big thank you, Anuli. Thank you so very much for being here. I hope that if we invite you again, you will show up, because we haven't even scratched the surface.
Yes, absolutely. If you're in town, you need us to talk about anything in town, conference, whatever it is, I got you.
And I'm definitely having a conference, because this program is brought to you by What Tribe? It's a tribe that I founded, Women High Achievers Tribe. And what we try to do basically is give support to women, support each other. This loan thing you talked about, honestly, I remember last year I had a conversation with a company, and they talked about giving loans to the women in the community. And we've been working towards that, and even savings, how you can save and get interest, bits and pieces. And I'm excited about all the plans that we have in the community. And one is the conference. We're planning towards the International Women's Day. And so I'm hoping that we will reach out to you, because we're trying to, everything that we want to do this year is still about women. Help exists, and we're talking about different kind of help, whether it's skill acquisition, whether it's gender-based violence, whether it's for your children, all of these things. And I'm sure that you'll be able to really help us in this field. So I'm going to reach out to you real quick, real soon, and I know that you will say yes. Thank you in advance.
Of course, yes. And just to say that for your listeners, whoever calls you after this, the first 2 callers, I will send 2 copies of my book to them.
Ooh, thank you so much for that. So we're getting 2 copies of our book, and I would definitely be ordering the book as well. So we will reach out and see where to order the book so that I can buy and support your book as well. Thank you so much for being here, Anuli. I wish to talk to you again very, very soon.
As well.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. All right. I am so, oh my God, I only have 2 more minutes, but that was so worth it. I'm so grateful to my guest today for talking on gender-based violence and femicide, because we really need to talk more on this. I wish we had more time. I'll be back next week. Remember, we have 2 books that 2 people are going to win, but that's going to be for next week. Please put that down so that I don't forget. All right, so lastly, just know that the radio program is brought to you by What Tribe Women Are Achievers. I'd like to say thank you to my guests, and if you try to call, I'm sorry I couldn't make any call today. Time is fast spent. I'd like to say a very big thank you to my producer, Blessing Agbeto, my executive producer, Tom Okewale Shona.
The world will never see you until you do.
No, they don't really care what you're going through. So you gotta show them, baby. You gotta show them the real you. You gotta give them what you've got. No, don't let them say what you're not, because you are strong. You are wise. You are worth beyond 1,000 reasons why. And you can be perfect, baby, because no one is perfect, darling. Oh, no, no, not nobody in the world like you. All right, okay. That was amazing with Anuli. Oh my God, I wish I had more time. But it is what it is. I would definitely bring her back, but do not forget to reach out to her if you need help. You can check them out on all social media platforms. HEIRWOMAN, Airwoman. And their website is www.heir.com.ng. Okay, remember, help does exist. You have to take action, because even the Bible says, heaven help those who help themselves. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. I will be back next week, Friday. Back to work for me. Bye.